I wrote this story a while back in a community post, and it's about one skill that I don't see many people fully grasp, but the way that this story is structured and how simple it is really makes it easy to understand. So I think this will make it click for you. So here's the story. During one school break, I went from Singapore to KL just to go shop, do touristy things. And so when you get on the bus, if you ever made the trip before, you know that when you go to KL, every few hours you can get off the bus, stretch your legs, go to the toilet. So the first time that I was on the bus, we went there. And when I got up to go to the toilet, I got up a bit too fast and hit my head on the top of like the roof of the bus. Bonk. So that really hurt. And then we went through the trip and everything. Then when I came back, so on the bus ride back home, I stood up, but I didn't stand up fully so I wouldn't get bonked on the head. So this is a really simple story, but that's learning. I experienced something and then I changed my behavior in response to it. I like this quote: intelligence is the rate of learning. Meaning if it took me one bonk, and then I was like, okay, I'm not going to stand up fully because I'm not going to get bonked again. That's pretty fast learning. If I stood up and I get bonked once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5, if I get bonked 10 times and then I'm like, oh, I should probably not stand up fully, that means that I learned really slow, and also I probably lost like half my brain cells. And so here's a question for you. How many YouTube videos have you watched in the past 24 hours or the past week about self-improvement, about changing your life? And how has your behavior actually changed from watching those videos? Have you changed any behavior at all? Or are you still being bonked on the head? So I hope that this video can be the one that changes everything for you by leveling up this one skill, which is proactiveness. A lot of times we watch things or we read something, but when we put the book down, when we close the laptop, our life doesn't actually change because we don't change our behavior. And so this is the one skill that you need. And being proactive is a very complicated process. There's 2 very big steps. It's super hard. Number 1, you learn. Number 2, you do. That's it. So right now, you might have already done a lot of the first step, which is learning. If you learn a piece of information, then you do it. You're pretty active. But if you can close the gap, that's when you level up that skill. So for most people, you're probably already good at like step number 1. You've already learned, you really consume a lot of content because it's fun to consume content. You probably already know what to do. And so here's the question that I'll ask you. What is something that you know you should be doing, that you are not doing, to achieve the goals that you want? The students are probably like, oh yeah, I should probably study a bit more, focus more in class. There's that assignment coming up, but I just haven't done it for some reason. For the people who are just getting into self-improvement, they're like, oh yeah, I should probably stop doing that one specific bad habit. I should probably stop fapping all the time. If I look at my day, I should probably make like a timetable so I have more structure in my day. So the thing is, you already know these things. It's just that you're not doing it. This is called a known unknown. You know what it is, you know you should be doing it, but you just don't do it. You just haven't done it yet. If you have a bunch of known unknowns, you make them into known knowns by doing. If you have step 1 but not step 2, you solve it by doing. Then there's people in another boat where they have step 2 but not step 1. So it's like you're an active person but you don't know what to do. And so you solve this by learning. And I relate to this one the most. Like, I'm really proactive, I like to do stuff, but I always do it and then get bonked on the head. So nowadays I learn first so that I can see where the bump is, so I can avoid being bonked. Look at what people that are ahead of you are already doing, see where they get bonked on the head, and then just don't do that. So a lot of my day is spent either learning or doing. Like 99% of my day, like all the activities that I do in my day can be categorized into those 2 big buckets. I'm either learning on how to do something, or the best way to do something, or I am doing the actual thing. So when I'm learning, what I'm looking out for is the unknown unknowns. A known unknown is like, okay, I have the question, I know the question, I just don't know the answer. And so you can go find the answer. But an unknown unknown is when you don't even have the question, so you cannot find the answer. Like, it's impossible to find the answer if you don't have the question in the first place. Unknown unknowns is like when you were a kid and you realize that 100 isn't the biggest number. You're like, wait, there's more? What? It's like the thing that you couldn't even consider. It's like the things that you don't know that you don't know. So that's the benefit of learning. It's like shining a flashlight, or having someone else that's more experienced than you shine a flashlight on the unknown unknown so that you can see the question and so you can go find the answer. So those are the 2 camps. The known unknowns is solved by doing, and the unknown unknowns is solved by learning. And so those 2 things of learning and doing, if you combine them together, that's what being proactive is. You learn something, and then you go do it. And the better you get at the skill, the less time there is between these 2 things. And so it's very easily measured, because if I just said, how proactive are you? It's very hard to measure that. But if I said, how long does it take for you to learn something, go do it? That's a measurable thing. So last year, when I learned something on self-improvement, I learned like from a video. It would take me like days, weeks, sometimes months to actually put into practice. So the time when I learned and the time that I did was very far apart. And nowadays, when I learn something, I try to do it in the same day. And so you can see the time decrease. And so it's measurable. I can like safely say that last year I was way less proactive than I am this year. And so I can see the skill increase. And so think about how much faster I move now. In the past, I would get it done by the end of the week. Now I get it done by the end of the day. So I work 7 times faster than him. And everything exponentially gets better as time goes on. So I don't get just 7 times more results. I probably get like 10 times, 15 times more results. So here is an actual step. Write down a list of 10 things that you know you should be doing that you are not doing to achieve your goals. Of the 10 things, choose the one most important thing that you could do feasibly in 24 hours and go do it in 24 hours. That's the easiest way to level up your proactive skill, because you learn from your own brain. You're not even learning from somebody else. You're learning from yourself. You're like, okay, this is the thing I have to do. And so when you squeeze the time to 24 hours, you're decreasing the time between doing an action. And so that's leveling up your skill. And so the highest, like the max level is like you learn something, you immediately do it right after. That's the next level proactiveness. If you saw someone do that, you'll be like, yeah, that guy is super proactive. So the way we get closer to that level of skill is just by moving this gap less, and less. If there's one like very clear trait of successful people, is that when they learn something, they pretty much put it into practice as quickly as possible. They don't like to wait. Whilst for unsuccessful people, it's always tomorrow. It's always next week. It's always next month. No, it's not the right time now. Next week. I'll start it next month. Oh, no. I'll start it at the end of the year. Right now, I'm recording this on the 2nd of June. So like we're halfway, 6 months in the year already. A lot of people will just be like, oh, it's halfway through the year. It's too late. I'm going to wait till next year to start doing stuff. Very bold claim here, but you don't have to wait till January 1st. You can just start right now. That's proactive. That's proactivity. Proactiveness. Yeah, that's proactiveness. So for real now, and I say this at the end of every video, but for real, take action. You learn something from the video, so now you gotta do it. It can either take you a day to do it, a week to do it, or you can do it right now as this video ends. Because when the bar at the bottom of the screen, the red little dot, reaches the end, I can't influence you anymore. Go do the actual step. Take action. A car just went past my house and it was loud as hell. Anyways, if you like my advice and you want more, go click the first link in the description. That's Ruff Club, my private community. I'm super active in there. I'm in there every single day. I have courses. I have like a full 7-hour productivity course. I have a full 6-hour YouTube course that I spent a month working on. So I put a lot of work into it. I also put some reviews on screen. Maybe it's here, maybe it's here. I don't know where my editor is going to put it. But yeah, so if you want to support me or you find it interesting, go click the first link in the description to learn more. If not, that's completely fine, because all the YouTube videos will still be here for free every week for your value. Give me a kiss. Mwah! Ah!